Welcome to Scene Invaders. You got Dan and Felicia here, and today we're talking Murderbot, Episode 9, All Systems Red. Now, if you hear some crazy shit in the background, that's just fireworks coming from Felicia because she lives in New York City, so everything's fine.
Yep. Ignore
Okay,
that. Yeah.
couple things to talk about. So, obviously, the finale for this show is next week. Came up quick. These episodes are so short. This one was a little longer. It was like 5 minutes
Yeah.
longer. But just some housekeeping. We're going to be covering Foundation. That comes out July 11th. Can't wait for that. Going to be tons to talk about. And then The Institute comes out 2 days later on the 13th. So we're going to be covering a lot on this channel. So stay tuned. We have a
Yeah.
lot heading your way. But let's talk Murderbot first. So I went ahead and read the description for next week. Obviously Murderbot's going to survive. He's not going to die. They
Yeah.
made it look like he died. They'll probably throw him in the med bay or whatever, and he'll get fixed up. They're going to go back to Corporation Rim, and I guess we'll finally find out the mystery of everything. It's going to be solved. So if you have any theories, drop down below. Definitely. I still have no idea what the evil force is at play. It definitely has to do with
Same.
something with the alien remnants, though. That's definitely a big part to play, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what they were
Yeah,
talking about a bit too when they met each other, and you could tell by the look on that woman's face that that's
yeah.
definitely the big thing.
Yeah, that was the thing that they're talking about. So hopefully we see that. I mean, they only showed it for a quick second like weeks ago. So hopefully we
Hmm.
get a little more info on that. I'd be satisfied if we do. If they don't, I'm gonna be a little upset. I'm not gonna lie. It's like why
Yeah.
show that? Why set that up and then never pay it off? So hopefully they do. So Murderbot had a plan this episode, and his plan was to not inform his team of the real plan because he thinks they would have freaked out. And they asked him straight up, what's our chances of survival? And Garath knew he was bullshitting, and it was like low, extremely low to extremely low chances of survival. And
Hmm.
yeah, so he didn't think they were going to survive. So they're heading
Yeah.
to meet up with Grey Chris. What you text me? You were bored early on. What bored you early on in this episode?
The first half of this episode, I like struggled getting into it. Even though then when he met with them, I was very glad that me and Corey's theory that I shared last week was actually half right. We knew he was
Yeah,
going to pretend to go rogue and like pretend to betray his clients, which I thought was cool. He didn't fake all their deaths, but he did pretend that he killed or that yeah, he hurt
yeah,
Garathan by showing the head.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
that was kind of cool to be right.
Yeah. You guys were right. So,
Yeah.
the plan was to launch Greg Chris's beacon and call for help. So, I mean, they did do that, and I guess they killed all of Greg Chris. There was a huge explosion. So, I mean, we're kind of going to go back and forth in this review. It seems like they all died. Maybe there was a survivor or two. Who knows? So,
Yeah.
when he finally meets up with them, they're trying to hack him, but his governor module's hacked, so they can't. And he's like, "Cut your shit, guys." Like, cut your shit.
Yeah.
And Rothy loves it. Rothy's like, that's my
Yeah.
Seki. And then he tells him about his governor module. So they're like, all right, whatever. And then what Felicia just said, he shows the fake Garathan head, but it's really their sec unit that I guess never
Mhm.
showed his face because they don't recognize the face of their own sec
Yeah.
unit that was killed last
Yeah,
week.
what a risk
Yeah,
he took there. What if immediately they were like, that's our sec unit? Like,
I know,
he
right?
took such a big risk doing that, but it
Yeah.
worked in his favor, so
It
he's
was a
smart.
big swing, so it did work. And he's feeding them, all types of bullshit just to try to get them to do what he wants them to do. He's basically playing Inception with their minds, and
Mhm.
it ends up working because he tells them where they are, where his team is. He tells them where they are, and they're like, "Wait a minute, what's going
Whoa.
on right now?
He's
Like,
betraying us.
is he betraying us? Like, what's happening?" And then
Mhm.
he uses a sanctuary moon name since he can't say Grathan's name when he's talking about actually Grathan. So he uses
Yeah.
that. And the one guy, you saw the one guy on their team was like,
He was like,
hmm,
that sounds
hmm.
what he said, Shagaman? Shagaman?
Yeah. It's like that. I think I recognize that. And then later on he gets him for it. But yeah, he just always does that. He always goes back to Sanctuary Moon, and
Yeah.
that's Murderbot for you. Yeah. So he wants them to go to the beacon when it launches so that they would die. And he wanted just them to go, but they're like, no, you're coming with us. So he's like, all right, I guess I'm dying.
Yes, yeah.
And that's that. And he was fine with that. He would have taken that and been okay with that outcome because it would have saved his crew. and he has come to care for them. No matter what Garathan thinks about Murderbot, he has come to care for them, and he would have sacrificed himself in that moment. Didn't happen because we see what happens. We're about to talk about it. So they're headed there. It's about to explode. What now? Their drone is taken out by a bird.
Bird. I was like, is that a dinosaur?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's what they called it anyway. So now the beacon won't launch. So Garathan has to go down to the habitat to hack in manually. That's what they have to do. And as this is happening, Mensa thinks of a plan, a better way, in her opinion. And it's really just to go down and tell them who she is because she's a high-ranking member of society and try to talk them out of it. That's not what ends up happening either. But, she's trying to do what she can do. And while this is happening, Murderbot is trying to stall them because in his mind, because comms are down at this point. Remember that. Comms are down. So he's trying to stall them so that it blows up. So he's saying, what's your name? What do you think about this planet? Did you like the guy? The one guy's like, I don't like this planet. And he's like, cool,
I hate
dude.
it too, actually.
Yeah. Cool, man. Shall we shake hands? Yeah.
He's so funny for that.
And then he screams, this
boldness is all. What happened?
And he dives, and he thinks it's all going to explode, but it doesn't because the timing's all fucked up because of the bird.
Face first in the dirt. So funny.
Just face first, dives in there, and then after this, they see Mensa coming, and they're like, oh, he wasn't lying. Their team is here. So Mensa's arriving, and Garathan at this point gets caught by a member of Grey Chris, and he's like, oh, shit. And then Pinley kills the dude.
Is he okay?
Love that part. Yeah, is he okay?
Too. Like, no, you just knocked him out. He has foam coming out of his mouth, and she's like, is he all right? Bless their hearts. They're so sensitive and cute.
Foaming from the mouth. Foaming from the mouth. Is he okay? Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's totally fine. Yeah. So that was great. And then the actual countdown now is 1 minute. Okay. As Mensa's walking out, they are not happy to learn that she's a planetary admin because it is a pretty big deal. You're not supposed to kill planetary admins. So they're like, oh, shit, that kind of sucks. And then this is the part I'm talking about, Felicia. She brings up the alien remnants.
Alien remnants. Anyone who finds them needs to leave the planet immediately and then report the findings.
So that's what you're supposed to do with alien remnants when you find them. Obviously, this team, Greg Chris, was not going to do that. They're probably working with some form of higher up to do something with them. I don't know. They're not being very clear. The episode is too short. But that's the deal, right, Felicia? That's what's happening here.
Yep, she basically explains it. So you could tell that they have a little secret, and I hate that we don't know it, but that's TV.
All right, then the comms come back on, and Murderbot gets caught quoting Sanctuary Moon.
I recognize that this sec unit keeps quoting things from Sanctuary Moon.
Okay.
He's like, I knew it.
I knew it sounded familiar. How about 2,797 episodes of that show? That is just nuts. I mean, that's more than Doctor Who. That's more than Grey's Anatomy. That's more than possible. That is more than possible. Imagine that many episodes.
Takes over his whole mind or whatever he has in there. He's just like, that's all he thinks about because it's so much.
And after they figure out he's quoting Sanctuary Moon, they know he's full of shit and he's feeding them bullshit. So an all-out brawl takes place. He grabs a hostage. Their sec units, Grey Chris's, can't fire near their clients because they don't have hacked governor modules. So it works for a little bit, but then one of the humans shoots the guy, so then he gets overpowered. Dude, he's getting his ass beat, and I love what he does. Instead of trying to fight back, he can't fight back because this guy's way more advanced than him. He just feeds him a bunch of data.
Overloads him. I think just everything of Sanctuary Moon, just all the shows, because he does watch like another show too. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah,
but he just flooded him with all of that stuff, or the brain to break it, and it worked, and it was very smart of him to do.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's been in this situation 3 times now where he's fighting a more advanced sec unit, and he always finds a way to come out on top. So you gotta love him for it. And then the explosion happens because the countdown reached 1 minute. And as he's falling, he turns to save Mensa. And I love what he says as he's falling.
Mhm.
I wish I could be left alone to watch my TV shows. That's all I want.
Same,
I
Murderbot,
know.
same.
Same here. I mean, isn't that the case for anyone? I mean, you guys are watching a
Yeah,
YouTube video about a show. I'm sure it's the same for you too. You just want to watch your stories and be left alone. Fuck work, fuck everything
exactly.
else. At the end, Murderbot, he's conscious, but he looks fucked. And
Mm.
she says you did it, and then it says like
Best client.
it's not looking good. Like basically they're making it look like Murderbot is failing or dying, and that's the way they end the episode, but that's not going to happen. There's something TV movie magic. Something's going to happen to fix
For sure.
Murderbot, and then we'll find out next week what this whole grand conspiracy is. So this leads me to the question, Felicia. Have you enjoyed this ride? I feel unfulfilled. I love covering shows for YouTube. This has been a weird journey because
Yeah,
they're so short and it feels a bit unfulfilled, and I can't wait for the other two shows that I mentioned to get going so we can get back into the meat. There's not a meat on the bone of this show. There's just
exactly.
not.
No, I
But
agree with you 100%. I've loved the show. I think it's funny. It does always leave you wanting more. Especially, I wanted
yeah,
to mention how this episode also ends with him saying, "My clients are the best clients." Like,
yes,
you're a
yes.
jerker. But since I'm also new to the channel, I am excited to dive into longer shows, ones that have more theories that we can work on. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, mid-July, August, September, and then Task is going to come out to follow up to Mayor of Easttown.
Yeah,
We're going to be popping on the channel. It's going to be a lot of stuff coming
can't
out.
wait.
Lots of theory videos. If you're new here, theory videos are videos all on your comments. We read your comments. We react to your comments. We get into it. We have a whole big community here. We have a Discord. We have a bunch of shit. We have member-only videos that we pump out. So we're community-driven here at Scene Invaders, and that's what we love to do. So, yeah, lots to look forward to. But I still like the show, and I'm excited to
Yeah.
see how it ends. But I will say I'm ready for it to be over.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
ready.
hard coming up with ideas and theories on something that's about 15 to 20 minutes long. Even if it's
And
enjoyable, it's just not enough.
and guess what? It ends just in time. It ends right before we're starting 2 more shows.
Yeah.
And those shows are going to be lots of fun. So if you guys liked us, please subscribe. We have so much content coming out. It's going to be worth it. I guarantee you it's going to be worth it. So you got any theories? Drop them below. Felicia, last words?
Yeah. Nope, just that I love the way they ended this episode. They got me to cry a little bit. First time this
That's
show.
good. That's good. All right, catch us next week for the finale, and then catch us for those 2 shows, The Institute and Foundation. And then we got Task. We got a bunch of shit. We got Monday live streams at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Tons of stuff coming out on this channel. We're nearing 10K subscribers. Can't wait to hit that milestone. Love you guys so
Yes.
much. Take it easy. See you next time. Later.
Bye.